So let's meet Erik and Jeanne Anderson and Hershey. Thank you for being with us today. You got to grab the dog. We can't do this without the dog.
Right.
Yeah.
We can't leave Hershey
Oh,
out.
hello.
Hershey gets more likes than we do.
So I want to talk to you because I've seen on social media you go everywhere. You do everything. So kind of take us through the start of how you became interested in RV travel and then how it evolved in becoming a full-timer.
Well, it's kind of a weird story how we got into RVing. I think as I mentioned to you before, I was Vice President of Human Resources for 32 years in healthcare. And probably 5 years ago now, I think, it was a particularly tough time. And my boss and I were kind of commiserating one day towards the end of the day, or actually by then it was evening. And she said to me, Erik, you know what we should do? We should just buy a motorhome and drive across the country and get away from all of this. So, I came home and I mentioned it to Jeannie, we both laughed. But then my boss, Mary Ellen, said it a couple more times over the intervening month. And at one point, Jeannie said to me, Erik, do you think that's something we could do?
Why not?
Yeah. And I had no idea anything about RVing. We'd never had an RV before. We just camped before. And started looking it up on Google and the internet and realized that RVing and full-time RVing is actually a thing out there. So that was 5 years ago, and we just started learning all we could, and then we made a decision for ourselves.
Yep. And then started, investigating RVs, and we just got ourselves a calendar, and then we went to Hershey Park,
Hershey, Pennsylvania, with the RV show.
Yeah, and we were going just to look, and
just to look.
Just to look. What Class C we were looking at, and then I don't know, this one we walked into, and Class A, and it was, I couldn't believe it. He got out his checkbook. Erik never just gets out his checkbook. He's just, and it was just, it felt right to the both of us. We usually get the feeling, when we both get that feeling, we usually just go for it. So we were, so we bought it, and we decided to buy it earlier than we were going to do so that our grandchildren could have some fun with it before we left. So, and it was a great idea because we went on a lot of camping trips with the grandchildren.
And one of the things I like that you did, first let's talk about how you came up with the name.
Lena Bug.
Actually,
she's one of our grandchildren.
Okay.
Olena. Her name is Olena, but since she was just a little baby, her nickname was Lena Bug. Yeah. She was just this little bug, this cute little bug that would crawl around.
And she lived with us for a while, so we, it just seemed right. But we do have all of our grandchildren's names on the RV, because it seemed a little wrong not to have, so.
Oh, sure, you can't play favorites, right?
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
All right, so you take delivery of your motorhome and you have trips that planned out. I mean, how did you go? Was there some sort of moment where, Erik, it's all you. So what was the moment where, was there like we're actually doing this moment?
Yeah, well, that goes back to our original decision before we even bought the motorhome. And it's a 29M, by the way. 29M, yep. Where, her career as a registered nurse, my career in human resources, and both of us in healthcare, we were pretty stressed out. And we came to think more about the fragility of life, and you never know how much time you have. Neither of us had ever really traveled around the country much, so we decided that we needed a change, wanted a change in our life. And so we actually made that decision then 4 years ago, and then bought the motorhome after that, because we wanted to make sure we could actually live together successfully in 240 square feet. And so that was when we actually made that decision. So it was a four-year plan that we put in place to wind down our careers, purge our possessions, sell our home, and pay off all of our debt and hit the road.
How did Hershey adapt?
Beautifully.
He's great.
He's the best RV travel dog. Yeah, he loves it. We always joke that every time we go somewhere and open the door, he gets to hop out to new smells and sights and new doggy friends.
He's a great dog.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the places you go. I mean, where you came up with your first stop, your second stop, your third stop, and then you just travel. So you do this consistently and make up, a travel chart, or you just kind of wing it sometimes?
Well, again, we're still kind of newbies to full-time RV travel, So our first leg of our journeys, which was last year, we left Long Island, New York on July 6th. So from July through December, what really kind of predicated our travel plans was hooking up with family and friends around the country who we hadn't seen in a long time.
That was good.
So that kind of drove where our destinations would be, and eventually to end up here in Florida for the winter, because I have a buddy from high school who lives here, and we were visiting with him. But we took the long way to Florida. We went through 17 states and over 5,900 miles to get to Florida. So it wasn't the quickest way, but it was the best way, because we got to see so much and meet so many great people. It was really a delight.
Yeah, meeting strangers. We'd go to dinner, you know, people would be following us, and they'd like, we know you don't know us, but would you like to have dinner with us? And we were like, okay,
It's
you
pretty
know,
cool.
but 100%, not even 99.9%, 100%, it was a good time. It was fun had by all, you know, so.
Where have been some of your favorite spots that you've stopped and see? Because I mean, you have so many great photos. Where are some of your most memorable destinations?
Well,
let's
that's
do it
tough.
together.
But
Yeah,
that's tough, because every time we pack up and we go to leave someplace, Jeannie says, you know, that was my favorite place.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah,
So
but
it's kinda hard to
together,
Michigan,
Michigan is our favorite.
Yeah, we've
place.
never been to Michigan before, and that just kind of blew us away. Just such beautiful country.
Beautiful
Northern
water.
Michigan, the Upper
Oh my
Peninsula.
God. Yeah, the water there was like Caribbean, you know, most spots where it was.
And it was just beautiful up there. People were so friendly,
Yeah.
and really great early American history as well. So we really enjoyed. We spent almost a month traveling through upper Michigan.
Yes, and I'd have to say that was definitely our favorite spots so far.
So
Yeah, so.
What are some of your travel plans for this year? Once things finally start to warm up, because I know it's even chilly in Florida right now, where are some of the great destinations you plan on heading this year?
Yeah. Well, we're leaving here April 5th, and I'm the trip planner between us. So she basically tells me where she wants to go, and like cousins and aunts and uncles she wants to see, and I figure out how to get there.
I'm along for the ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? You drive too, though. I have.
I do.
Right?
Yeah.
So what was that? We'll get back on the planning, but train of thought. So what was it when Erik said, you know what, Jeannie? Here's the wheel, go.
I really couldn't expect him to drive all the time. That's just crazy. So I learned to drive a boat, so I figured I'd learn to drive, you know. We try to keep it where it's not the crazy traffic, but sometimes I'd be driving and then we'd get into a small town and it's like do or die. So, you know, I just watched videos with him on how to drive. We practiced a little bit in Long Island before we left. And
big empty parking lot.
Yeah.
She felt safe.
And you know, like I said, I couldn't expect him to drive every time. It just didn't seem right. So, you know, I take it slow, and you know, the more I do it, the more comfortable I feel.
All right, so circling back now to Mr. Trip Planner, Erik, what do you have in a hopper this year?
Well, we're leaving here April 5th, and going to cover like Alabama, Mississippi, and Alabama, New Orleans. Then we're going to be heading straight up north. So we want to head straight up north. We've got an aunt in Kansas City, so we'll spend some time with her, and work our way up to Minnesota and North Dakota, on the kind of western or eastern side of North Dakota, because we haven't been there yet. Then we'll work our way west across North Dakota, and then we're going to drop down into South Dakota, you know, hit the Badlands and Devil's Tower, Mount Rushmore, those areas. Mount Rushmore's been on her bucket list for quite a few years, so I'm going to get her there. And then we're going to work our way down into Colorado, and we have a cousin that we're going to visit there, and some friends back from Long Island, New York, are going to fly out to Colorado and spend some time with us there, so we're going to connect up there. Then we work our way back up north, head up to Glacier National Park, and with a little luck or a lot of luck, maybe go across to Canada to Waterton Lakes, we'd like. Then work our way back south. I had everything planned going down into Yellowstone and Grand Teton, all nice and set, until she told me she wanted to see a cousin in Idaho on the other side of the Continental Divide. So that threw a little monkey wrench in my plan. So I kind of reworked things. So we're going to scoot over to Idaho and then work our way back down to Yellowstone, Grand Teton, work our way through Utah and a lot of national parks there, get over to New Mexico, and hopefully, here again, a big if, depending on the pandemic situation, the International Balloon Fiesta in Albuquerque. We want to get to that in October. And then head over to Arizona, and next winter this time we're going to be staying in Arizona and that's what we've
We got it all planned out. Now, have you run in, and while we're talking about the pandemic, have you run into any issues in finding campgrounds and places to stay and booking, or has it all been pretty, at least normal?
Not relative to the pandemic, no. We traveled from July, which was, kind of right in the middle of the thing, through December, and we really didn't have any difficulties. We were just very careful. Obviously, we both come from healthcare, so we take things very seriously. And on a more somber note, I lost 4 employees back when I was doing my job. We lost her sister to COVID as well last April. So we take the whole thing pretty seriously. So we follow all the state's various rules and restrictions and guidelines and the localities, wearing masks, social distancing, and all the rest. We did find that, it varied greatly, in terms of the campgrounds and the parks and the resorts, in terms of what type of restrictions they had, whether they enforced them or didn't enforce them. So we kind of we had to go with the flow and be responsible and be careful.
Abide by the rules.
Abide by the rules.
But nothing really to the point where, that we were like, oh my God. I did want my grandkids to come down here with my daughter, but they didn't allow people to stay. I did want to go home too while we were here in Florida, and that kind of was a bust too.
Yeah, we
because
couldn't
of
get back
all,
up to New York.
by the time we got there, I had to, quarantine for 14 days, and you had to have the test at this particular time. It just seemed like there was too many restrictions. So I haven't seen my grandkids in a while. And
that's got to be hard. So, I'd love to get everything back to normal. These are the things where at least with technology now, I can talk to folks like you, but it's one of those where I'd love to get down and travel and meet people, like yourselves who are out there just doing it and enjoying lives, because it really is, and for people who have never been in an RV, it really is such a fascinating way to travel. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, it's exciting.
It is. And
so
everybody in the campsites, I don't think we've had a problem with anybody. It's just a hello, friendly. It's really amazing.
You stayed in 32 places, so were there any little gems of places that you can share for people looking for somewhere new? Is there that they may not have been? Was there like a little nugget you went to and said, this is, everybody's got to go to this place?
Oh gosh.
I liked Vermont.
Well, there was a park up in Colchester, Vermont, Lake Champlain, that we liked very much. Lone Pine Campground up there. That was good.
Falls.
And oh my gosh, Branches of Niagara RV Resort, Niagara Falls. Only about 10 minutes from the falls on the American side. Because we originally had reservations on the Canadian side, but couldn't go there. But it turned out to be great because Branches of Niagara was a fabulous
really cute
RV park. That was great. And I would say on Osborne, the city-run campground in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. It was really cool. You could see Canada across the river, across the straits, and you could see all the freighters, Great Lakes freighters, coming across multiple times during the day, and that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's cool.
Very nice. A lot of great adventures, a lot of great memories. Well, I certainly hope things turn around so all your grandkids come on and visit, and you can go visit them, and you can take them to Disney and do all the things. We're all on the same page on that. And I do appreciate you taking your time today to chat with us and everybody and share your stories and your photos. And we wish you safe travels in just a couple of weeks here.
Great. Thanks so much, Steve. Appreciate you having us on. And I got to say thank you very much to Thor, everybody at Thor and customer service at Thor. Thor's just been just great for us. And it's been a great relationship these past 4 years.
All right.
Nice to meet you.
Well, thanks so much. Thank you very much.